In the heart of Sydney's vibrant nightlife, under a sky that refused to cooperate, Lady Gaga delivered what was meant to be the triumphant finale to a leg of her electrifying Mayhem Ball tour. But as the rain poured down relentlessly on Accor Stadium, turning the stage into a treacherous ice rink of sorts, an unexpected mishap unfolded that could have derailed the entire evening. One of her dedicated background dancers, Michael Dameski, slipped and slid right off the edge during the high-octane performance of Garden of Eden, a track pulsing with raw energy and intricate moves that demand precision under the best conditions. What followed was a masterclass in poise, empathy, and leadership from the pop icon herself, transforming a potential disaster into a moment that fans will recount for years as a testament to her humanity. Picture the scene: thousands of devoted little monsters, clad in glittering outfits and waving signs of adoration, their cheers echoing through the massive venue like a symphony of unwavering support. The air was thick with anticipation as Gaga, resplendent in one of her signature avant-garde ensembles, perhaps a shimmering bodysuit adorned with metallic accents that caught the strobe lights like distant stars, commanded the stage with her unparalleled vocal prowess and theatrical flair. The Mayhem Ball Tour, which had kicked off months earlier in July, had already become legendary for its blend of high fashion, boundary-pushing choreography, and Gaga's ability to weave personal vulnerability into larger-than-life spectacles. Songs like Poker Face and Abracadabra had the crowd in a frenzy, bodies moving in unison, lost in the cathartic release of live music that only Gaga can conjure. But as the setlist progressed to Garden of Eden, a song that evokes themes of rebirth and sensual exploration through its haunting melodies and provocative lyrics, the heavens opened up. Rain cascaded onto the extended runway, a catwalk-like protrusion that brings Gaga closer to her fans, fostering that intimate connection she's famous for. The dancers, a troupe of elite performers trained to execute flawless synchronization, were pushing their limits, their bodies twisting and gliding in formation. Michael Dameski, a seasoned dancer whose resume includes collaborations with some of the biggest names in entertainment, was at the forefront, his movements fluid and powerful. Then in a split second the slick surface betrayed him. His foot caught nothing but water, and he plummeted off the side, vanishing from sight into the shadows below the stage. The gasp from the audience was collective, a wave of shock rippling through the stadium like a sudden chill. Videos captured by fans on their phones, now circulating widely on social media platforms, show the exact moment. Gaga's head snaps toward the edge, her eyes widening in alarm. Without missing a beat, she bolts forward, her heels clicking urgently against the wet platform. "Stop! Stop!" she shouts repeatedly into the ether, her voice cutting through the blaring speakers and thumping bass like a lifeline. She's waving her arms frantically, directing the backstage crew to kill the music, dim the lights, and halt everything. It's chaos controlled by instinct, the kind of raw, unscripted response that reveals the core of who Stefani Joanne Angelina Germanata is beneath the layers of glamour and performance art. As the final notes fade and the spotlights soften to a concerned glow, Gaga approaches the precipice, leaning over to peer into the abyss where Dameski has landed. The crowd's murmurs grow into a murmur of worry, phones held high not for selfies now but for reassurance. "Just 1 second, she says into her microphone, her tone steady yet laced with urgency, a soothing balm for the sea of faces staring back at her. Turning her focus downward, she calls out, "Are you okay?" Her words hang in the humid air, bridging the gap between performer and fallen comrade. There's no panic in her voice, only genuine care, a reminder that for all her larger-than-life persona, Gaga has always been the artist who treats her team like an extended family, crediting them publicly for every glittering success. To keep her audience from spiraling into full-blown anxiety, Gaga loops them in with transparency that's become her hallmark. "We just had an accident on the stage, everything's okay," she reassures them, her free hand gesturing calmly as if to physically wave away the tension. "Just, everyone wait a second, please." It's a plea wrapped in command, acknowledging the shared vulnerability of the moment. True to form, she doesn't delegate from afar. Instead, she leaps off the stage herself, landing with the grace of someone who's navigated far more metaphorical falls in her career. There, amid the tangle of cables and safety mats, she checks on Dameski personally, her presence a comforting anchor. The other dancers hover nearby, their faces etched with concern, but Gaga's calm demeanor steadies them all. What could have been a show-ending fiasco turned into a brief interlude of adaptation. The pause allowed the team to address the culprit, the relentless rain that had turned the stage into a hazard. Crew members scrambled to provide better gripped footwear, wiping down surfaces where possible, ensuring no one else met the same fate. Gaga, ever the director of her own narrative, used the downtime to connect further, perhaps cracking a light joke or sharing a quick story to ease the mood. Though specifics from fan accounts vary, the consensus is that her charisma never wavered. Minutes later, the lights flared back to life, and the music swelled anew. Dameski, brushing off the incident with the resilience of a true professional, re-emerged unscathed and dove right back into the routine. Gaga double-checked one last time. "Are you okay?" "Okay." Before the energy reignited, the crowd erupting in applause that was as much for the recovery as for the performance itself. The rest of the set unfolded with even greater intensity, as if the near-miss had infused the night with an extra layer of adrenaline. Hits poured forth, the anthemic build of Bad Romance, the sultry introspection of Shallow from her A Star Is Born days, each number a celebration of survival and reinvention, themes that have defined Gaga's oeuvre since her debut. Post-show, Dameski wasted no time dispelling rumors of injury. Taking to Instagram stories, he shared a clip of himself grooving to Garden of Eden once more, his smile wide and unforced. "Hey everyone," he captioned it, "I'm okay. Thank you for checking." With a nod to the milestone of wrapping the year's final performance, he added, "Happy I was able to finish the last show of the year." It's this positivity that encapsulates the spirit of the Mayhem Ball Tour, a production not just of spectacle but of solidarity, where mishaps become badges of honor rather than footnotes of failure. Reflecting on the broader tapestry of Gaga's touring legacy, this Sydney slip joins a pantheon of memorable tour moments. From wardrobe malfunctions during her Monster Ball era to emotional breakdowns turned encores in later years, her shows have always been as much about the unpolished edges as the polished perfection. The Mayhem Ball Tour, with its thematic dive into chaos and creation, feels particularly poignant in this light. Launched amid a world still healing from global upheavals, it featured elaborate sets evoking fractured dreamscapes,